Hello and happy Tuesday. Drum roll, if you can believe it's the 18th. We're on the second day of the Adulting Challenge. I am hoping that you watched the first video so you can understand and maximize our 10 days together. If this again is multiple times you've done the Adulting Challenge or your very first time, make sure you have pen and paper ready to take some notes for our second strategy. So in the comment section, make sure if you're watching live here at 8 a.m., say hello. If you are watching the replay, just still chime in, tell us the best part of your day, and then let's get started with the second challenge. So we've all had, you can see in the little header there, we've all had those leads that just kind of are flatlined, right? Like they were introduced to us in a virtual, setting. Someone saying, you've got to work with so-and-so, or you've got to go check out so-and-so's product. And a referral partner introduced you, you sent the email and flatlined, right? Or someone expressed interest via a social media platform. They sent you an email, a DM, they tagged you, they said, I want more information. They attended your freebie, right? But then they flatlined. They never went to the next step of your sales process. So what today, the second strategy is called AED. So literally visualize an AED that's at a recreation center or at a hospital to revive the dead lead. So before we start, I want you to get pen to paper of who are 5 people that they sat in the email box, they've sat in your text messages, they ghosted you, they cricketed you, right? Any of the terminology we can use now as business owners when a lead just goes silent. And these 5 people are not people that have done business with you before or that they purchased and then they kind of fell off. That's not what I mean. I want today's strategy just to be for the dead leads, the people that came into your sales funnel. They never converted into the consultation. You never got to the bid process. You were never able to connect them to a product or service that you have that would be a fit. I want you to think about those 5 people. You're like, I met them at networking. They expressed interest. I sent the email that night and they still didn't do anything. That's the individuals that I want you to get, kind of a brainstorm around. So I'll give you about 10, 15 seconds. Put those people's names down on a piece of paper. Then I'm going to teach the strategy. So I'll pause for a little bit, get those 5 people down. Or you should always know kind of top of mind, who are those dead leads that we need to revive. That may be just, a little bonus for today. So now that you have those 5 people, let me teach the strategy. And again, it's for these bucket of potential prospects. It's not for any other, sales funnel that you have. Okay. So it's not a retention tool. It's literally to revive the dead lead. And Connie, I don't know what to do with them. We made contact 2 months ago, 16 months ago, 16 years ago. I don't know what to do with that dead lead in my CRM system, in my email box, in my communication tools. Okay. So it's AED. The very first step is it's an attraction point. This means you need to do some research on that person. So you go check them out on Facebook. You go check out their website. You go check out where maybe they've been networking, okay? You see what, on LinkedIn, what they've been looking at, what they've been reading, what they've been showing up on. So in this day and age, in 2023, I didn't used to teach this in adulting challenges. This attraction point needs to be a commonality. So Connie, I just saw that you played in, XYZ golf tournament. Connie, I just saw that you got best of best in city of fill in the blank. Connie, I just saw you were, interviewed on such and such podcast. So your very first step to attract these dead leads, to go like, what do I say in an email, in a phone message, in a text message, in a voice memo, is that there has to be an attraction point. Not, hey, Connie, I know we haven't talked, I know we were never able to schedule our, interest call and, just seeing if next week that would be available. They probably don't even remember kind of the moving parts, right? So, and a lot of us just get stuck. We're not going to make that call. It feels weird, feels icky, feels salesy, I hear people say. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go and do a little bit of research and say, I saw on Facebook, I saw on your website, I saw on this publication, I saw on the roster, I saw it, fill in the blank. You got to find an attraction point, okay? And then you acknowledge them. You give them that like, hey, shout out, congratulations, good for you, saw you expanded, saw you moved. It can be any personal or professional attraction point, okay? That's the first part of the communication. Second part of the communication is the E. It's the most important part. It's the engagement ask. Let me write that down. That's the second part of the strategy. And the AED is the engagement ask. And the engagement ask is not to go into your sales funnel, okay? It is an opportunity to attend an event that you're going to attend a virtual summit that you have an extra ticket to participate in a fundraiser that is close to your heart, not necessarily related to your business or how you serve. So this engagement ask is, I have an extra ticket. I have a table at. Would you want to participate? Would you want to be a guest at this next mix and mingle I'm at this next, women's conference, at this next expo, at this next vendor event? So let it be another person's event. That's the key part of it, that you have an extra ticket. You have an opportunity to. You can bring 4 guests to, all right? So then that gives your dead lead an opportunity to go, do I want to get to know that business owner more or not, right? Like, it's not going to be, do you want to attend my workshop? Do you want to attend my summit? Do you want to do my 7-day, free trial? It's not that ask. It's utilizing your other network's events to your advantage as the business owner to get them to engage, to go, I'm attending, the duck race, right? The duck fundraiser at the Rotary Club. Would you like to participate? Would you like to come with me? It's going to be a family-friendly event. Or if that's not in the season of life, would you like to, go attend this gala that I have an extra ticket to at the chamber? So your responsibility as the business owner is to get really thoughtful about how you're using your engagement points and start looking at your calendar and start networking for that purpose, okay? Not just to get your events out. So there's always different business owners that we know that are doing different open houses, barbecues, movie nights, fill in the blank. We have all been invited to them, right? So I brought my calendar to just be super mindful of this week. Like, as a real life example, I have 3 different events that I'm tending. 1 that's virtual, 2 that are face-to-face. And I'm genuinely just offering a connection point, offering an engagement ask to say, would you like to? There's 4 of us going. I have 1 spot left. Would you want to be my guest? So watch this recording again, because I gave you a lot of scripting there. But that's a great way for them to start realizing, do they want to get closer to you in your sales funnel and just in building rapport with you? It's not a hard sales ask by any means. It's a very soft approach of reviving this dead lead. Now, what's really important to know is that 1 engagement ask will not do it, okay? 90% of them will still ghost you. And you're like, this is a great technique, Connie, right? But what I'm going to say is, years ago, 10 years ago, when I would coach sales, marketing, follow-up, retention, that turnaround time was typically, you only had to have about 5 to 7 engagement points before you saw conversion or before you saw a true thanks but no thanks, right? That used to be 10 years ago. It took about 5 or 7 touch points to have a dead prospect touch point, and now they'll get on the phone call. And now they'll, go into your Facebook group, and now they'll fill in the blank. Okay, 2023, you want to know the real stats, and you're not going crazy, nothing's wrong with you, is that because of how much people are overwhelmed per their schedules, per media, per just inundation with communication and asks, and the world is everyone's oyster, right? Until everyone has too full of a calendar and they can't make anything fit, right? So you now have the responsibility as the business owner. I'm equipping you today. You're adulting in your business. Is that it takes 10 to 13 touch points now before a conversion to happen. So when you stop at touch point, engagement point 2, the ask, the come check out, the I have a ticket, and they ghost you still, they go silent, just know that nothing's wrong with you. Please don't take that personally. Welcome to sales, right? You're adulting to go, got it, Connie. For the rest of quarter 3, I need to have multiple ways every single week that I can be inviting these dead leads to. And then when they can't go to your Friday hike, they can't go to your trivia night, they can't go to, the event that you have an extra ticket to the summit about. No stress. Do not take them out of your pipeline. Just go, oh my gosh, next time I can't wait to maybe invite you to fill in the blank, yoga on the rocks, such and such, fundraiser, such and such open house night, such and such ribbon cutting. You have all these events at your, honestly, at your hands, right? And if you don't, Maybe today is an opportunity to start looking at Eventbrite and Meetup and different local experiences and virtual experiences to be inviting some of these dead leads too, because you're not going to go in for the hard ask. Okay. So know that your repetition needs to be every couple weeks when they cricket you or say no, and you know that they're a viable prospect. You now for the rest of quarter 3 have that opportunity to be inviting them in those engagement points. Okay. It's not just, I'm going to can them and put them on, this isn't the best way. I'm going to can them, put them on my newsletter. I'm going to can them and put them in XYZ, right? You want to give the traction point of, hey, I just saw you. I just recognized you. I just saw what your business did. I just saw what milestone you hit. I just saw the personal XYZ. Super proud of you. Know how much work that takes. Like, do an acknowledgement point. Last year when we met, you can acknowledge that. Last year when we met at such and such conference or such and such vendor event, you were saying that, this is something you're working on. Just checked out your website and oh my gosh, look, you're doing it. You're in those stores. You developed your e-course. You moved, you did what you wanted to do. There's that attraction point. Then you've got to figure out those 10 to 13 asks and engagement points, and just know that that's just the cadence of business now, folks. There's nothing wrong with you, right? Like, those that have the due diligence to adult in that way will see conversion. We just stop too early in the process. All right. The last part is D. All right. They're going to stay dead if it's not a delightful process for you, because you're going to get burnt out. Let's be honest. So AED is it needs to be delightful. It needs to be super de-duper, Connie. I know that every week I'm going to put some asks out for events and for people to come attend with me. And I know that conversion's not going to be high, because for this part of engagement strategy, it's going to take multiple months, multiple asks, and it's delightful. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't have an expectation of 2 asks and they're saying, here's my money. I want to participate in your product or service. Okay. So that's part of the soft skill set of this strategy. Why it's at the end, the D, is that it needs to be delightful. Every week I'm like, okay, I've got my 10 to 15 people, never have heard from them in 2020, never heard from them last week, right? Like I have that CRM list and I'm like, okay, who am I cultivating? What's appropriate for, the type of activity? Let me do a little bit of research on where they're at in life, what they're doing in business. Let me then send that communication. I do that about an hour a week, just so you know that. And that's just my normal cadence. And when they come back or they don't, I just mark that. And I know in a couple weeks or in the next month or the next time, I'm going to be in their local area doing the, charcuterie board making class. Then I can maybe invite them, in a couple months. So that is what you're going to do with your quote unquote dead leads. You're going to apply the AED. You're going to take action today. That's why you're in the Adulting Challenge, to actually take action on those 5 folks. Would love in the comment section if you have questions, or how do I phrase this, or I did it. I finally took, forward action in some of those dead leads and put the email, put the ask, got really strategic with my calendar on how I could do engagement points for the rest of quarter 3. But I want you, again, the most important part of this challenge is I'm going to keep giving you content, 10 to 15 minutes, super easy, super confined, like very straightforward strategies for certain segments of engagement. But the most important part, folks, is you have to go into action. You have to go and be delighted by starting this AED process. And I guarantee you'll start to see some traction, some momentum, some questions back, some, oh my gosh, thanks so much. That is how you can continue to revive those dead leads, or that dead Rolodex for those that remember that. So enjoy your Tuesday. It's such a blessing to be able to be in this challenge together. Again, remember that one of our core values in this challenge is continuously growing. So do not stress out. Do not judge yourself if you've never done this. And if it feels a little nervous, welcome to adulting. That is A-okay. So I will see you all tomorrow on Wednesday. Please put in the comment section your greatest takeaway, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye.